All right. Thought it was being all cool, but I did this last year, sort of. I compared and looked at both games last year for this Noville, this little scenario in SCS Bastogne Screaming Eagles. Noville, it's the intro scenario. And No No Noville out of Race for Bastogne. Yes, for GTS. So the top one here is the the top one here is the GTS version. Just a second. So this is the GTS version, and it covers here and here. Basically, the Germans have to take Noville and Foy. I played this last year. You can go check it out. Play more games. Also played it last year. Here on the SCS game, it's kind of squared out here, and it basically goes a little further this way. So Racolnier is here, that's here, Foy is here, Foy is here, and there's a black outline of the map here, and you have to take this whole road and have it cleared of American units, or at least DG'd. They have artillery for both sides. They didn't really have, these wouldn't have really been there during this part of the battle. 19th and 20th December, both take place then, 19th and 20th December. GTS starts at 11 o'clock on the 19th and ends, I believe, on the night turn of the 20th. This just goes 19th, 20th. So, and what's cool is the OOB matches up very closely. This GTS breaks it down, a little artillery park for the Americans. The Germans will get an artillery park. So that's modeled a little differently. There's some mortars and some that represented here in the headquarters, but that's just kind of abstracted out. They're both, everything's a company size. There are some platoon sizes. When it's a platoon, they used a rear guard here. And it's pretty cool. It's very, very close. So I've played both scenarios before, and it's going to be fun. I'm going to play them kind of side by side. I'll play turn one here, and then play the first, all of the 19th turns, and get that done, and then report back on that, or vice versa, whatever I do. But I'll just play them out and see what I come up with. It may be interesting to take a similar approach to the battle itself. See how that goes. I do need to touch myself up on some of the rules, so it's going to be a little bit before I get to it. But this has got the raised roads, sunken roads. I got to figure that out. And just some of the normal stuff of GTS. I got to remind myself it's been a big gap. It's been like 5 months since I played. Too long. It's been too long. And just some of the little details about this particular SCS module. So looking forward to doing it. It's kind of fun that they're set up right here, side by side. I looked for something in Last Battle, the new Compass game that came out. It doesn't have any small scenarios in that. And in that map, in the scale, it's about 4. Yeah, this map would be about 5 or 6 hexes. So I can see they can't have a map that small. A scenario that small. I do wish they had some smaller scenarios. Just kind of like, I guess you can just put some crap on the table and start figuring it out. Because I don't want to have to set up all the maps for that. I may just have to go to Vassal. I hate to though, because it's such a beautiful game. All right, we'll see after day 1, turn 1. What is this madness? Road march this guy onto here. Road march a guy down to here, a guy to here. I was tempted to move road march 2 guys down here, but I'm going to try this route. The first overrun attempt during regular movement will be this guy. Go boom, boom, blam. I don't expect much. It'll be 1-to-1. But if at a minimum, this guy will be here. Then this guy comes in around to over here, tries to overrun there. It's going to be It's going to be another 1-to-1. And I might change that so it's 8-6, 8-6. Yeah, I'll have to see the math on that real quick. I can't do it in my head right now. Either way, I'm going to have one guy move here. And then, so here would be the second one. So that what I'm hoping is that then there's zones of control impacting this guy if he tries to retreat, because he has to retreat this direction. It doesn't really tell me which way the supply sources are, but I assume Americans are down this way and Germans are at a minimum this way. Maybe Americans are this way too, I don't know. So that's my plan. We'll see how that shapes up. Okay. All right, so here's GTS, the plan. I'm sure it'll be a great plan. Germans are going to come in here and set off their range fire units out here, fired a couple on the infantry, and one on the cav unit, the panzers on the cav unit. The infantry will come along the back side here, take these guys out if they need to, or head straight to Noville, and then they get a formation activation. So this will be the first turn. They did not get contact, not even close, with their artillery, so that will not be firing this whole turn. That really sucks. So they're going to come in this way. The Americans on the defensive side are going to these units that are already on these infantry are either going to, depending on what happens in Noville in that first activation, or if the Germans get like into Noville, I'm thinking if they do not, the Germans do not get into Noville, I think they're going to try to scoot these guys into Noville and set up a line here. And that'll pretty much occupy most of the activity here. If the Germans do take Noville, depending on their position, I may still bring them up to maybe get them in a position to retake Noville, because then at the nighttime, the Americans get 3 more para units. They can come up here and then create these IPs around here to protect Foy if necessary. The Germans get another whole bigger slew of another let's see, that'd be a battalion, two strong battalion coming in here. Depending what happens here, they may go around either this way, which I think I tried last time, or just skirt around. It'll be night when they get here, so they'll try to get close. And then they'll have 3 turns, 7, 9, and 11 to take this. They'll have three turns or 6 hours. So that's the plan with those. Now, they have to take Noville. So if these units really fail to take Noville and they're looking bad, then that next unit will come in here and take Noville, because at least to get a draw. There's no need to take just Foy. Noville has to fall first. So that's the plan, and we'll see you after turn 1. Okay, into turn 1 in the Noville scenario out of SCS is the Germans took Foy and Noville, so that's a big deal, but that's not the conditions. They have to have this whole road cleared of American forces. So the challenge is going to be, I almost think, so we have 1 turn left, so all these guys are probably going to come in. Oh, they can't. Oh, shoot. So here's a challenge. So the American reinforcements all just put up in here. I mean, it's a struggle in knowing that they're, that they're not going to go down this way. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just put there. So the Germans have to clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units out of off track A. And these guys are going to be way the heck over here. They're going to get, they could get road march to here. Just looking around here, what they can do. They can so they could all road march to here, and at least get into here. All these units coming on. It's gonna be tough. So the Germans took Foy. I did the plan I did. The Germans suffered mightily doing these low attacks here at exploitation during movement. So not exploitation, but overruns. And they tried a couple times. It worked, whittled them down pretty significantly. But they did a lot. But the problem is when the American reinforcements came in, they, like I said, they went over here. And so these guys who are their strength have to go all the way around. Now this guy can start, but he's a 6-4. And so that's going to be tough to get them cleared out. And then if they do that, they leave it open. So I might try to bring a German in here and kind of come in this way, but that's a 5. I do have a 9. So I have 3 9s coming on and a 3 attack. And then an 88 as well. Man, this is tough. Yeah, I'll have to kind of do some counting of movement factors here. That's probably what they should do, is probably come up here and just sweep in this way and go this way. So they'll basically, well, I'll know. I mean, all the Americans need is one guy on the path, and they're good to go. It's tough when the Americans get that DG, but I'll tell you what, man, I keep failing a lot on the American combat rolls there. So this is a situation where we stand at the end of turn 1. So at the end of the 19th of December, the Americans are really strong on this side. The Germans cleared Noville, got into Foy, which is all good because now they're a 12 defense. So you're not going to get rid of them easily. And that's that. And I need to look here. Hold on. Let's pause a second. I got to make sure those American reinforcements were correct. Yep, I was correct. The Americans do come in turn 2. I just suddenly had doubts. So it's going to be tough, but we'll see what happens. Let's see what happened in the GTS game.
So I'm not going to do much, but this is just after the 11 o'clock turn. I'm really going to do the full turn after a full day. I guess I'm going to do a full day report because that's what I report on the SCS game down here. But boy, so much stuff can happen. There they are, kind of surrounding Noville to protect it. And here come the Germans. Okay, we'll see it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are at the end of turn 1 of GTS, or Race for Bastogne. Noville. So I finished the day. The Germans have not taken Noville. They've kind of held back a little bit because they just kept getting pushed back. The airborne has come and put a guy here and here in IP. There might be an airborne guy in here too, but they're under IP as well. Plus there's the rear guard tank is there. Foy is wide open. And so we've been through the night turn. So we've done the 11, 1, 3, and night turn. And now we're going to go to the 0700 turn. So there's 3 turns left, 7, 9, and 11 turn. 3 turns left, and we got the direct command chip for the Germans. The Germans' command rolls have been terrible, and they only have a command rating of 3. So they're sitting right now at 8. They need more, but they have another group of guys coming on, which is kind of good, a whole new formation, but they're all going to be sharing those command points. I have to make sure that their command rating doesn't go up. I don't think it does. The Americans get 3 more or 4 more airborne companies coming on. And so Germans are coming on up here, which is interesting because these raised roads really prevent a lot of side movement. They like block. And I need to see, you can't enter a vehicle cannot enter a raised or sunken road unless they enter it from a road hex, if I'm understanding it. So these are essentially walls, I think. I have to make sure I'm getting that right. Because I wonder if I did it wrong. Anyway, I have to check that out. So the Germans are really kind of stalling out, but they were kind of applying some hits. One step was lost here. They've applied some cohesion hits, but that night turn is so great for rallying. That really helped both sides, but really helped the Americans because they had some with 2 cohesion hits, and they had 2 turns in a row where they were able to get some rallying off or some. So that was really good, and the Germans can't afford to shoot anything, and it was such weak firepower at night, so they didn't. So this will come down to some chits. I was thinking, all right, one, I need to understand the road situation, the road and railroads. If they, in fact, cannot, let's see what this is. If this is not, yeah, see, that's all raised road there. If it is, then the Germans have to go this way. If they can, if they're in column, they will go down this way, get on the tracks, and head down here and get up into the Well, they can't do that either because vehicles aren't allowed in the woods. I don't think they can even move there through. No, I don't know. I'll have to look. So, a couple things I need to figure out. That's that situation. So, and as a reminder, in the SCS game, the Germans have Noville and Foy. So, in case in the GTS game, that would be a victory right now. But they have SCS. They have to clear off that road, and here they have to get both cities. Otherwise, it's a draw if they only get one. So that's why if getting Foy, it's like, well, I can get Foy. So the Americans really want those airborne to get up so they can at least be up here to defend this. If that happens, I just don't see how this is going to happen for the Germans because they're going to have to haul butt for 3 turns to get around. And if it, yeah. So I don't be fun. It's fun. I'm really enjoying GTS. It's such a fun system. So it's my favorite SCS system. Just kidding. That'll confuse everybody. Bye. See you after the end of the game.
All right, Wardrobe's very proud of himself. This Puma was in this hex. They got the direct command chit starting at 0700, and I was able to put this guy next to him. He took a cohesion hit getting there, so then he was able to travel all the way around with no hits, not in column, because he had 33 movement. He was able to get there. Boom, got into Foy. Now, there's a problem here. This engineer unit here could assault him. That could be a problem. This mortar can fire on him. That could be a problem. I need to find out what happens to an entrenchment that they drive into. Oh, wait, can they drive into a village? They can. It cost them 6, but they can. So that happened. But now they're out of command. I do wish there was an out of command marker because that's a big impact, and it would be nice to see that. So I need to actually ask. I don't see one in here, and I don't think I've seen a mini game. It seems like it would be nice to have, especially in like the bigger games. I mean, I just know you're supposed to keep people in combat command, but this guy's way over here, and it'll be a while before he gets there. So he's 6. So anyway, that's just Jeff. If you heard him, Hex to Hex dying back there, he's fine. All right. Anyway, we'll see you. You know, you think he'd be more mature than this, but yeah, those are D10s from my playing a GTS. I may have just accidentally dropped them off the table, or just gave them a little slight toss from the board. Didn't help my rolls any. Fun times. Okay, game over for both games here. Crazy. Well, not crazy, actually. It was close games, both of them. Let's start and take a look at the SCS game first. Broad view here, U.S. victory. Barely, but not, I don't know. So the Germans had to clear this route. This is the closest I've ever got with this. I think I've played this scenario 3 or 4 times. This is the closest I've gotten. Yeah, this American is the only guy left. 1 step. And I mean, as the German player, I did everything I possibly could to get it. And the American didn't even take their turn. This is the only thing left to do. And there's no reason for him to attack anybody because, I mean, oh, hold on. He could be barraged and actually taken out. But he would, depends how you play it. Yeah, okay, so I didn't play this out, but he could barrage these guys. They would barrage first. I would put all 3 on this guy to eliminate him, and then no one could barrage him because no one would be next to him. This is interesting. But even if now this, in some of the games, okay, this is funny. I hadn't even thought about this before I shot this video. In some of the games, one of the SCS games, I am pretty sure that the guys can advance, or that might be a different game, actually. I don't know. Anyway, even if they got rid of him, he would have been the last to occupy that hex, and no, you can't advance on a DG. Gosh, what game is that? So we could try that, but they already lost because, 1, there's still an American on the trail, on the yellow Route A. But a big thing is this Kolken could only take 1 step lost out of the armor units, and they lost 3 steps of the pure armor. So each armor lost 3. I mean, as soon as that second one went, I could have stopped the game, but I wanted to keep going to see if I could clear them out. So that's U.S. victory.
period. So that's that. Man, so 3 steps, 1 guy left. Just it's a tight checking of overrun, exploiting, DGing. The Americans' artillery failed several times or did very minimal damage several times. It's killer though. I mean, when it's taking out steps, I mean, it's going to be hard. I don't really understand how you're supposed to win that. It's tough. And again, I've never won it as the Germans. This is the closest I've ever got, and I was counting every step and pushing everything. Hope I did everything right. It's a fun scenario to learn almost everything that's going to happen, except for really looking at supply too closely, or like the artillery points, which is cool that there's some limitations there. You don't do all that stuff, but yeah, it's always interesting when you look at a game like this that has a big map and well, not a big, but the whole map is just a tiny section, and like how much I was concentrating in this thing for 2 turns. So 19th and 20th December, that's that U.S. victory. Yeah, and just trying to plan that. And like, okay, that's this much planning in this. How much planning is it to do the whole thing, down to that level? If it takes that much to take that in 2 turns. Now, this is pushing you in 2 turns, but, Bulge game, your time's is tight and you got to make it happen. So that's that. Fun scenario to play. And it's a fun whole game to play too, but it was fun to play that for this 19th and 20th of December. All right, let's go take a look at GTS. Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is just the unfairness of the... Oh, man, I need to move this over more. I thought I was good here. Boom. Unfairness of the... all right, that was disturbing. Of the command point situation. They have a 4... Is that right? Yeah, a 4 base. So they're always going to get 4 command points. But I rolled... when the division came up, let's see, so I don't know how many times it came up, but almost every turn. I think there was 1 turn they didn't get it. Oh my goodness, my lighting. Good Lord. It's falling apart on this video, but that's, why like 4 of you watch my channel all the time. I appreciate it. I was rolling 1, a 0, I know for sure, 2. I mean, 1. So they were struggling with about 6, 7, 8 points maybe, whereas these guys were always up. The Corps, 7th Corps, is that right? 7th or 12th? 12th Corps, were up. No, 7th. We're up to 13, 12, 13, 14 a few times, but really 10, 11, 9. And then the Airborne, they maxed out at 19 twice, and then so the preponderance of command points made a difference. It really. Considering the Germans were the ones attacking, it's pretty amazing. I have played this scenario before. You can check my channel on that. Again, the closest I got to victory. It's a draw. The biggest thing I had here, the division didn't get to go again. Might have helped, especially if it'd come up earlier, and then these guys could have gone. And this guy, but I would have had to roll a good. Let's see, I don't know. Let's just roll it for fun. Let's see what I would have got as my command points. Oh, I rolled a 7, so a 3, so 7 more. So they would have had 7. But I'll tell you what, my big thing in here. So here's where it stands. It's a draw because the Germans did take Foy in that silly thing I did where I left it wide open. So when McMurray and I play games, solo together or solo, we'd leave stuff open all the time. Well, I left it open as the Americans. That Puma got to, and they could not dislodge this Puma. And then Koken was getting in here and flooding it. But look, there's no Koken guys in here because they got all whittled out to nothing. That's pretty crazy. Now that I'm looking at that, they got, all their guys who are sitting over here, you can't see, sitting over there, they were taken out in their support of that. That's pretty crazy. That was a lot. But I will tell you what. So just as in the real battle, the Airborne made some the Americans made some counterattacks, and they're going to get higher in command saying, stop doing that, because they could not dislodge these guys. I think that was probably how they got rid of some of those Koken guys in there. So that did not, it was crazy. Airborne could just not dislodge. Of course, some of them failed to get in, some of them just failed the rolls. They couldn't get, 40% chances of getting something. They got nothing. And then up here, same. In Noville, the Germans, man, whittling away. Could not get the guys out of Noville. I think they had 2 assaults. Nothing. I mean, they just chewed themselves up into it. I was having to go in without getting them fully suppressed and stuff. There were some suppressions, but it's tough. And I'll tell you what, tank battles, it was freaking hard to make anything happen with all of these Panthers against this one lone Sherman. I could not make anything happen. It was amazing the rolls I was getting on both sides. Now, it was hard for the Sherman to get much on this Panthers. I'll tell you what, man, they're tough. He was whittling down. He was finally to 2 cohesion hits, but it took me, yeah. So one thing I think I failed at is I almost feel like getting stalled out over here. And I did end up getting these guys out of command. And I took that into account for all the things they were doing. But, so pretty wild, pretty fun. Again, the closest I got. So no, this was a U.S. definite victory. This is a draw. But so it was fun. Again, all the energy and time on just this one little section. Imagine, it took me a long time to play this too. And I know I watched the solo guy play more games or something, thought he said he could play 1 or 2 hours. And I'm like, I just done not how you do that. I guess I spend too much time kind of thinking through, like counting out all specifics and stuff. Because I feel like that's what it takes to do well. But I was looking up some rules. There are some little rule things I had to look up occasionally. And I gotta be honest, I always feel like I'm doing something a little wrong or something, but this is such a fun system. So anyway, good time. That's both games. I can wrap it up there, but real quick, I do wish there were some out of command markers. I may try to find a way to make myself some. It doesn't happen that often, but you probably wouldn't need very many because you just don't do that. But like this guy being out, it's just some little things to remember. And you want to make sure you do it. You could probably I think you'd make a little 1/2 inch marker so it's smaller than this. I don't know. I think just make some to remind myself. You could probably have 10 in most games because you're not going to do that very often. But there's probably some games you do that. Do that. All right, that was a fun exercise. Noville and SCS. And that was that. I appreciate you all watching. I appreciate you subscribing. Please subscribe, like, do all that stuff. It helps. And thank you all for getting me to 3,000 subscribers. That's pretty cool. All right, that's that. And we'll see you for the next battle. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. See ya.